In June of 2022, Galen Morris had been sitting at home all day waiting on her boyfriend, Andre Smith, to come home because she hadn't seen or heard from him all day. This was something that had been going on for a while, so she became anxious and very upset and decided that she was going to go look for him to see if her intuitions were right. Now, after driving around for hours, she remembered that she put an air tag in his car, which is a tracking device, and it led her directly to his location at Tilly's Pub and Grill, where she saw Andre's car parked. She walks up to the window and immediately spots him sitting there with another girl. Then all hell broke loose. She started yelling and calling him out his name, then walks over to where they were sitting and began hitting on Andre and tries to pull him out his chair. The female Andre was with stood up to try to prevent from getting hit, but this only brought Galen's attention to her. She grabs a halfway full beer bottle off the table and swings it with all her might at the girl, but fortunately Andre managed to block her hand before the bottle connects. She then lunges across the table to try to get to the girl, but Andre gets between them once again. Now by this time, the manager asked them all to leave. Now Andre and his new girl had already ordered, so he told her to stay in and pick up the food while he walks outside with Galen to try to handle the situation. As he was walking her to a car, all you could hear her doing was cussing him out and calling him a cheater and all sorts of things. But as soon as they reached her vehicle, she started fighting and trying to force him to get in, but Andre wasn't having it. After the altercation ended, Andre walks back into the bar and met up with his date again, but by this time, Galen had lost it. She felt that if she couldn't have Andre, no one could. So she jumps into her vehicle and starts speeding down the sidewalk to try to hit the both of them. Luckily, one of the workers saw her coming and stepped in front of her car to try to prevent her from hitting Andre and his mistress, but there was no stopping Galen. She pulled around the worker and managed to just clip Andre's hip with her mirror, but the impact was so hard it knocked him to the ground. Now, he tried his best to try to get up and move out the way, but as soon as he made it to his feet, Galen had threw her car into reverse and backed over him, submerging his whole body under the vehicle. Everyone that was out there was screaming and yelling at her, trying to let her know that his head was right by the tire, and if she moved forward, she was going to run over it, but it was too late. Galen put that car in drive and proceeded to run over him again, dragging him under her car for several yards. One person said that at the time she ran him over, everything was so quiet that you could even hear the crunching sound of his bones. Now, once the car stopped, the only thing you could see was Andre's leg under the passenger side, and his head was wedged in between the tire on the driver's side. At this point, everyone was panicking and recording her, and you would think that Galen would have came to her senses and chilled out, but that wasn't the case. She hopped out the vehicle and headed straight to the other girl to try to attack her yet again. Now, amongst the crowd was an off-duty registered nurse that had watched the whole thing go down. So as soon as the chaos stopped, she ran over to try to help Andre. Once she got to him, Andre was completely unresponsive, but she could see that his eyes were still open and he was faintly breathing out his mouth. She said that as she was sitting there with him, she noticed that his breathing had become more shallow and intermittent, and within minutes, he completely stopped breathing. When the police arrived, they immediately placed her on arrest, and after examining Andre, he was pronounced dead. As of today, Galen Morris is being held behind bars at the Marion County Jail on charges of first-degree murder.